Hello, everybody, and thank you so much to Patricia and Rose for all their work over the last 6 years, and Patricia especially for just doing such a fantastic job, and all of you for having such wonderful ideas over this week. My head is just exploding with um, with all I've been taking in. So, Julia, I'm looking at you on the
Okay.
screen. Give me a thumbs up if you're seeing something that says Marcelo's project and it's taking up pretty much the whole screen. Oh, good.
Yes.
Okay.
I also will remind you that I'll give you a 2-minute warning.
Thank you. I would appreciate that. To jump into this quickly, obviously, Marcelo was going to be doing this as a workshop at Big ISME when we were all supposed to be together next week. And from my understanding, he probably would have been taking something like an hour to do this project as a workshop with a group of people divided into subgroups. They were going to be from his abstract, which you have access to in the abstracts. He was going to workshop it so that they were in small groups. They were going to do a lot of chatting and brainstorming amongst themselves, come up with themes. And then the whole group was going to discuss those. Excuse me. It's going to be very coming up through the people in the group to come up with some ideas for the future. And so in the abstract right now, that's his abstract. And I never had a chance to talk to him about what he had planned. I've just gleaned this from looking at the abstract. And so when asked to take his spot and try to do something along those lines with you, we don't have an hour to do that. So I tried to be true to his purpose within the confines of the time that we have and within our distance approach that we're doing right now. So in his abstract and his title, he had epistemological, ontological, and ethical issues showing up quite a lot. So I kept these in this title, and I just have explained what his workshop was going to be like at Big ISME. So in his abstract, here's a few of the comments or the points that were made in the abstract. And I'm just going to let you read those. Julia, I'm going to rely on feedback from you. If you'll just give me a thumbs up when you think it has been long enough for people to read. And wanting to double check myself and not just go off what I think these words mean, but actually look them up again, I looked up epistemological, an adjective. And when I read that out of Wikipedia or wherever that came from on my dictionary, the words that came to me were seems to me that we're trying to figure out where somebody is just saying, oh, well, it seems to me, like like our current president in the United States. Oh, sorry, I digress. Um, what seems to be, and like, what's actually real? Ontological, here's a definition there, all about the nature of being, existence. Does something really exist? What is real? And you know me from all these years of research, I'm always into categories and labels and classification. And so I kind of resonated with that this is the classification of existence, taking things that are abstract, how do they relate to each other, and so forth. And ethical. And I thought it was really interesting that when you look at the definition of ethical, the dictionary actually mentions, especially regarding standards of a profession. And that makes sense. I didn't realize that was going to take such a prominent part in the dictionary definition. So you know that earlier in the week, trying to be true to Marcelo's idea of getting ideas from the group, I put out a few prompts. These were not the most elegant prompts. I didn't have a chance to pilot test them or anything like that. I basically ran them by the other commissioners, hoping to get some ideas as to our own research and where we're puzzling over things for the future, where we think we maybe have some good new ideas that we want to share or vet with our friends. and how we're planning on incorporating this into our teaching. I must say this has been a bit of a warm-up for me. I teach a research class, one research class in the fall, so I'll start it in about 2 weeks. And I did not teach this class this last year through a bunch of weird circumstances. I didn't teach it. So I feel like I'm kind of going through my warm-up of getting ready for some new projects for a new group of students I'm going to be working with. And this has been a great warm-up for me. So coming from your ideas, I asked 3 main questions. What's something innovative that you've been thinking about trying regarding either methodology or technology or philosophical concerns? And what are we doing with our teaching? So those were the general prompts, as you remember. Here are some things that you said. We had about 15, 16 people who responded. About 3/4 of them were not from the USA. So this is reflecting many ideas from around the world. And I'm just gonna let you go through those. Co-constructing knowledge, challenges and ethical considerations. And this person mentioned specifically having worked with the human subjects, the human ethics committee or board in their institution. A digital ethnography as a means to explore online messaging. And how do we look at the race debate was an example given there. And how are music memes used to convey messages? As we go through these, you'll see there's quite a lot of technology issues coming up. Here's more on innovative approaches. Somebody mentioned psycho-sci as a way to conduct research remotely. Trial run was mentioned, and I don't know what trial run is. Maybe that will come up in the discussion. The idea of research and writing groups, and that bringing collaboration was very helpful during COVID, and specifically said this would not have happened without technology. Having another person mentioned a research group with students, teachers, host teachers, supervisors as a way to bring practitioners and researchers together. More ideas, autoethnography, postmodernism, cyberculture, and online lessons mentioned specifically. The idea of video analysis of classroom practice and getting people to reflect on their practice. Technology, again, being used to assist research mentoring or partnerships, and this leading to transglobal and therefore cross and intercultural strides. And I thought that was very pertinent, especially for ISME. More innovation, a postdoc. One person mentioned a postdoc, William Randall, having developed a phone app, Music, tracking daily life music listening, and gave a little bit more detail. It's a mobile experience sampling method, but it actually just uses your phone using things like Spotify, YouTube, pops up when you start listening to them, and then the researcher has designed some questions or prompts that it taps into easily. Maybe we'll hear more about that along the way. When people were talking about research class, I realized that I wasn't thrilled with how I had written this prompt, but we're learning all the time. That's, you know, if you don't make a mistake, then you can't learn from it, right? So one prompt or answer that came up several times was, I don't teach any research classes. And then I felt really bad because I didn't mean for somebody to feel like they didn't need to answer this because I don't teach a quote research class. I meant just when we're teaching our students in general, at whatever level, about research, that's what I meant. But clearly that didn't come across. So I learned from that. Although I have used e-learning system, it is already not innovative. So that's interesting. The technology, even though we try to keep up with it, it goes fast sometimes. And what was new yesterday, all of a sudden is old hat. Cooperation with the general class teachers and part-time special needs educators, developing music educational methods as tools for language teaching. Another person said, regardless of research mode, determining the importance of what one measures and collects in regards to what will be found. I think Steve was just mentioning that. Some more ideas. Sometimes we keep studying the same thing again, but one reason we do that sometimes is with new technology, we're finding better ways to see if what we thought we learned is still true. And then the opposite can be true. Maybe it's not still true because times have changed. If we don't continue to come back to some of those same topics, again, over time, we don't know how that has shaped over time, I think is what that person is saying. And so we should not be discounting something just because, well, it's been studied before. Times change, knowledge changes. Another person said, my most innovative approach is that I don't save research for graduate classes. I weave in research from our journals into every undergraduate class in a research light way. It's never too early to start getting them hooked on research. 2 minutes, all right, I'll go faster. Another, the simplest thing that we do is to record a course, an instrumental practice, and send it to them through various channels. Mentioned some different apps there. Having said that, an official approach has been proposed by the university, but time being short, it doesn't work very well. I don't believe the above is innovative, but we succeeded, and more people are deeply interested. On ethics and research processes, meta-analysis mentioned, ethical challenges of doing research that has a critical, potentially disruptive agenda. I'll let you read the rest of that to yourself. So this has come up already today a little bit about, how do we be ethical and treat people well in the short and long term through our research. Programming education, I guess that means interested in all of these things. Another person said, do you think there'd be an interest in having a conference or seminar on research ethics and responsible use of data? I think by the very fact that that question is being asked, probably the answer is yes. How do we use and interpret effect size within our big journals? Ethics in the largest sense of the meaning. Career accreditation in the Spanish-speaking world is a troublesome field. Maybe is it the same in other places? That's what this person asked. Quantitative, qualitative, results analysis, multidisciplinary ways to find common grounds and ways of communication. I'll go through these fast. Researching diversity without cultural appropriation. How to involve teachers in the whole process. And I think that's about the amount of time. Really, I just wanted to collect some of your ideas to launch a discussion here, trying to honor Marcelo's idea that this is a chance for us to one more time towards the, at the end of our time together, that we can inspire ourselves and each other for work for the next biennium. And so thank you. I think you say this Kitos. Suvi can coach me on whether I'm anywhere close on that. That's how you say thank you in Finnish, according to the dictionary I was using. So thank you, and I will stop sharing now, or
Great.
I'll try.